What is modern techno, you will say? But there's a better way to explain it. They often have a groove like this, and then a big lead sounds like this. And finally, deep but ever-building break sound. So hop in and let's do some modern techno track. We will start with the kick and the bass. The low end was always the focus in techno, and it is the same in the modern ones as well. So I'm gonna go to my sample pack. This one is good. Let's put it into the drum rack. So it sounds like this. Quite beefy kick. I'm just gonna make it a bit shorter. To start with, I want to distort it really, and I'm gonna use the trash for this. Here we go. I'm gonna put an EQ. I feel like it's distorting too much those highs. So after that part, I'm gonna make a sub bass just to balance these two together so that I have my low end in the pocket. So the driving bass patterns used a lot in the modern techno. So what I did, I just layered the F so that we will have the driving F sound, and I'm gonna go for my pigments. So let's go to the sample pack. This one is also from my own sample pack, Pigments Premium. So I'm looking for something deep and heavy. I think this one should be quite heavy. So having this moving filter makes the sound a bit more interesting as well. The thing that I'm gonna take away a little bit is just like attack sound, because it's a bit too attacky. I know it sounds really nice, but I will have another layer, so I'm just gonna decrease it a bit. So what I'm going to do, go here. Something like this. Let's sidechain the kick. And let's put the look ahead. And I'm gonna also get rid of these super lows together with the kick. Let's bring down the kick a little bit. Often than not, there's always like deep color percussions in this type of modern techno track. They are there, you can barely hear them, but they really color up the low end, so it makes the track different from any other modern techno track. So I'm going to do that. The first thing that I'm going to do, just randomly pick a sample, a loop, any loop, doesn't matter which loop that you pick. So I have this hi-hat loop from my sample pack again. Of course, it's too high on the pitch. I'm going to tune it down all the way. Like this, and then we are going to cut some with the EQ. So you can definitely hear that I'm really interested on these super lows. Here you can see a bit more, and such in the kick. And you can see there's movement happening here. I wanted to have this kind of movement in the sound so that the sidechain is moving a little bit as well. So this is just automation of that sidechain amount, or threshold in this case. It gives this kind of nice, interesting contrast together with the kick. I'm going to do the same thing one more time with another type of sound. This time I have this sample. Kind of white noise, and I just took the high end of this one. So it feels like we are in the warehouse. It gives just a bit air to the sound. It makes the bass somehow feel bigger than it is, having this really white on top. You can definitely hear how big of a difference that a single sound makes. Not enough? One more time. This time I found the sample. Like deep bass sound, and just move it around here. So it creates kind of machine sound, and together again. And of course a bit EQ here. Now we've created this kind of really dirty ambience in the low end. And now I think it's time to add just a driving bass on top, the same thing that we did before, but one octave above. And this one is just from my dual sample pack. Let's look at the patch itself. The most important thing, you can use any synthesizer of course, is that having this like a turn cutoff and a little bit envelope. And envelopes are really, really short so that it makes it really plucky. Sounds like this. And idea is during the track, you can either open the cutoff or envelope, depending on how you feel, but altogether. And of course, this is not the tempo that we should be working on. We should be working like a higher tempo, right? And I'm gonna go for 129. let's make the bass a bit darker in the beginning. The kick almost sounds like a clipping. It's actually clips because of the distortion. That's the reason that we are having that sound. But I'm gonna keep it because, again, if you just listen to kick itself, you would like to have a clean sound. But in a techno track where everything is super distorted, even you want your kick to be distorted just to add up the ambience. I think this is good enough. The second thing I immediately will start is the big lead sound, because this is really important. And for that sound, I'm just gonna grab the diva. I oftentimes continue with the percussions and the hi-hats and so on right after the low end, but this time I'm gonna go for the main lead sound because everything revolves around these lead sounds in this type of modern techno tracks. And for the lead sounds, I'm gonna just use these Dreams with Umek preset. I changed the decay, I think slightly sounds like this. But the main purpose here, the main idea with this sound is just getting this super soul wave sound. In Diva we have this digital oscillation mode where we can actually basically detune the sounds here and then use multiple oscillators. And on the left side we have this sound, and the right side we have a bit more stable sound. And we have super sustain sound here as well, so slight attack and sustain sound, and a bit release and a bit chorus. And plate reverb to keep this ambient. The main idea here, when you have this type of sound, it is really suitable for arpeggiation because you have sustain sound. You can use the gate for the length of the sound. So in this case, I'm gonna go for something like 16, maybe a bit longer. And this is the whole idea. Like the whole idea evolves around kind of this synth riff. By the way, I'm using mainly Teenage Mutants and Anna's track for the reference. This melody comes from Teenage Mutants track. The track is called Follow Me. What I'm going to do, just draw it down so that we have this sound all the time with us. So basically these are notes. The first one I tune it down so it sounds a bit better. And probably we will play this one like every other bar rather than playing all the time. Simple sound, but quite effective. If you're enjoying video up to now, and if you like more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done it already, and hit that like button. But let's continue now. Once we get this, let's put the hats so that we have this kind of techno groove going on. So I just took this loop from my sample pack. If you want to learn more about this type of hat loops, I actually created them myself, and I will add a link here so that you can take a look at that video and learn about it, how to create this kind of things. But this is basically 16 hats and evolving a little bit and a bit randomness in it. So this one is the same sample pack. It sounds like this. A bit more like a percussive together with the track. You can immediately feel like this really strong techno sound. And on top of that, we need an off hat. And final piece is just kind of super percussive sound. A bit hard to hear, we can volume up a little bit. And it's more completing the other things in the track. Once you get this part is right, like low end, high end, and a good lead sound, you are kind of, I will say, 60% of the track is ready. The rest is just filling up the space and so on. But what I'm going to do, get the clap. I'm going to just layer probably an analog clap with like a splashy clap on top of that. Let's go to my preset pack again. I'm going to go for, I think the first one in the claps was an analog clap. Here we go. So I want something like this, but I think this doesn't have a splashy sound. This type of track often has. Let's volume this down a bit and see how it sounds. Of course, it shouldn't be there. Let's get something splashy here. That mousy thing has it, I think. Let me hear. And then I don't need this beginning part. And this one should be shorter as well. And I'm probably just EQ it slightly, just like that. Volume up a bit more, I feel like. What I like to start thinking is, okay, I have this chorus part, the drop part, how can I reach that part, right? This will be the highest point of my track where everything will be like this. And now I need to think about a bit more like the break. So what I like to do, what these type of tracks often have, is like a quiet point and reaching to the kind of like a climax and dropping again and then going back to the main riff. So what I like to do is come up with kind of a chord progression that I can use in the break. So what I'm going to do, pick Serum and go to my preset packs. I want something really simple. The idea is having something simple. Is like in the beginning you don't need this super complex sound because you want to build your chord progression. You want to build something that you enjoy. So I think this is good enough to start with. This is the part Aldo produces a problem with. The thing that I often do is like I just meme the sound, like try to do it my mouth to come up with melody while the track is playing, right? So while it's playing, try to in your mind come up with a melody and try to meme it with your mouth so that you can play later on here. So we want something epic. That's why I'm going for like this smoother progression, but kind of feeling a bit more epic. So what I did basically with my mouth, something like this. Let me play. This should be already enough to make things going already in your head, right? If you had this first notes done, let's make it also this 4 bar, put down the notes. What I like to do oftentimes put the second note in here, so we have something more like a chord rather than single note. So you can maybe go for the third. Here, it's really up to you what type of vibes that you're looking for. And remember, this is not the final form. You always can change the chord progression during the track. So let's try. Maybe go down here. A bit too dark. I think this is like good enough. Again, like I said, if you like to change, we can change. What I'm gonna do, maybe put a bit unison here now. Activate the second oscillator, maybe put a bit unison there as well. Put a bit release here now. So you get the idea. I'm opening up this one, so we will build this kind of nice break from here. What I'm going to do is support this one with another higher pad so that in the beginning we can start like really deep and dark. And maybe we can open this up and add second pad, the brighter pad and an octave up pad, so together they will sound better. So let me quickly do that. So I just found this preset lane 8 string. It's really bright pad sound. Sounds like this. Now I have a lot of effects on it here, that's the reason it sounds like this. But I implemented the idea we mentioned. So Serum, the first one, the deep one, starts here. And the cutoff is going up. We are opening up. And the second one is the brighter one. And this one is 1 octave above, as the notes are 1 octave above as well. So they are brighter. Can probably volume up a little bit. And we immediately have this techno break sound right here. What I'm thinking now is like I can support this sound probably kind of a acid sound. It's like in the background, like acid driving sound, and in the beginning we can again have the same kind of effect, like a deeper, darker, and then we open up to support everything all together. So that's exactly what I'm looking for now. Let's get the acid preset. Okay, I have this really acid preset from my preset pack, 303 emulation kind of. I will say sounds like this. This kind of really nice sound, and there's a delay on top of that. So idea is we are going to use this sound and automate it all the way here up so that we can support this pad build up together. So let's do it quickly. I'm gonna just put some notes in it. Okay, so I just put these notes. There's like the simple driving notes. Sounds like this. It's a bit clipping because we don't have, probably we should give a little bit of release here so that it doesn't clip like this. Like this. Instead of playing with the cutoff this time, I'm playing with the envelope. I feel like when you have SE sound, playing with envelope reacts a bit differently and nicely. So it's going up all the time. It's a bit longer than this loop itself, but together, look how it sounds here. Now, I think I have everything I need. I think that should be a vocal sample as well, because lately everybody using those female vocals or the male vocals, just single words or single ahs and ohs. I will go splice, bring some vocals, and then put everything in an order, put some effects, and we can take a look one more time before going for the full playback. Let's take a look. Okay, let's go through the elements first and see what's different here compared to the things that we have done. Up to now, we done everything, and then I found these vocals. It's just like a simple vocal sample, sounds like this. I distorted quite heavily too because I want this kind of more techno vocals rather than like a more deep house vocals, I would say, more pop vocals. Sound like this. No. This one is a bit too clean for a techno track, so what I did, drive it really a lot and give an echo and a shimmer and cut the lows because I want this crispness of the vocal but nothing else. The other thing that actually I listened to the reference track from Teenage Mutants, and they had this kind of nice reversed lead sound all the time, so I did that one as well. I just put the vocal shimmer on top and echo and resampled the sound and reversed it, so it turns into like this. And on top of that, I added another delay and the sidechain compression, so it creates the bigger ambience than it is. So if I play it, it just supports this ambience in the break. And then I had this drone for the just give this kind of excitement sound. This one is just from my preset pack again, I think. Yeah, this one is eroded afterlife presets, but what I did a lot of effects and distortion so that I can make it a bit more distorted, original sound like this. The effects basically comes from the overdrive, to be honest, and a bit reverb on top of that, and playing the simple chords or simple note F all the time. And I added the right to give a bit excitement here. We will come back to that point. This is basically the chorus of the sound. A crash sound, and then reverbed, and the sidechain the clap. For the effect side, this could be a bit interesting. I wanted to have this kind of really epic kind of break. So I had these 3 different operators. These are on the fixed mode, so I can play with the frequency. So the frequency goes all the time up. And it's just F and G sharp. How this is done is basically I'm automating that fixed frequency, so it goes up all the time. And the pitch goes up. And the same thing here, the second one. But this one is just white noise. And the third one is another one, but brighter one. Goes up and up and up, it just gives more epicness to the break. And finally, what do we have here? Yeah, this one is a resampled version of another Pigments preset. Sounds like this. Just simple hit, really, percussive hit. And then we have another horn sound here. I think it comes from my sample pack. Just at the hit. And like I mentioned in the structure, I had this really huge break here and the vocals and the drop. And again, this one, I just want to do something like the reference track. So what we do now, yeah, before I start, there's also one more thing is I added these shimmers and big reverbs here. So in the break here, for example, I'm sending my hats, I think. And I'm sending some of these pads, I think, and some of hats to here so that we have this kind of nice ambience right before the break. If we solo this guy here, for example. It creates this kind of long tail right before the break. But I think that's enough. Let's do start to end and take a look at everything one more time. Let's go. And yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something, and I will catch you next one. Goodbye.